Do you like a challenge? Click on the challenge button and subscribe to my free 30-day real estate investing video challenge. Every day I'll get you a new video, how I built my business doing 8 to 10 deals per week. It's 2.5 hours of hardcore training.
Welcome back for another week of the Vekselman Report, coming to you live from the Vekselman Marketing Office in New York, the very heart of some of the biggest and most exciting real estate deals in the world. I'm Michael David McGuire, along with our show host, Peter Vekselman. Peter, ready to go?
Absolutely.
Hey, last week, an email came in after we were off the air. It came from... get the light here, Anne in Lansing, Michigan. She says, or she writes, my husband and I own a duplex in East Lansing. It was cash flowing just under $1,000 a month, but the tenants have lost their job and are not paying the rent. We went through one eviction about 2 years ago, and that was a big hassle and expensive. Yeah, right. Yeah. Any suggestions?
Well, look, obviously, as you know, Michael, I work with investors and helping them develop very dynamic businesses.
Right.
But I have been around the block. I've been doing this, many years, owned hundreds of properties myself. In a case like this, just pay them some money, get them out of there as quickly as you can and truck on.
And get on with your life. And by pay them the money, I know in your coaching work, I've heard you say, don't give anybody any cash money until you got the keys in hand, right?
Absolutely. It's called cash for keys.
Yeah. Well, friends, if you'd like to get in on the conversation with a question for Peter Vekselman, you can reach us now live here in New York at area code 212-465-3205. Peter, ready to go?
All set.
Terrence in Denver on line 2. You're with Peter Vekselman here on the Vekselman Report.
Hey, guys, I got to tell you, this is probably one of the best shows that I've heard in a really long time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. What's your question for Peter Vekselman?
Hey, Peter, my question is, especially in today's market, the economy in so many different markets, it's booming. What would be the best real estate strategy in a booming market?
Hey, Terrence, I tell you, the underlying factor you have to understand in real estate is you have to understand how to market for deals. Because once you understand how to market for deals, then you just adapt that exit strategy to wherever you are located. For instance, being in Colorado, there's a tremendous demand for real estate there right now. It's a booming market. There's not a ton of real estate, so every piece of property is valuable. It's a great place whether you sell the property off or hold on to it. You almost can't go wrong if you know how to get into these deals correctly. So the one thing I always tell people, the key is you got to know how to market for deals. And then if you extend that beyond just the general concept, you have to know how to market for off-market deals. You have to know how to go directly to the owners. Because when you go directly to the owners, you alleviate those middlemen. You alleviate the realtors that take a commission. You alleviate family attorneys that, may want too much of a price. So you got to understand how to market for properties, how to go directly to the owners, and then you adapt that exit strategy in according to what market you're in. And I could tell you in Denver, I'd say anywhere in Colorado, I think you can't go wrong. Whether you're if you're getting them well enough, you can get tremendous opportunities to do rentals or for sale by owners to people, or if you just want to wholesale them and flip them out to investors, there's huge demand. But in a market like that, that's so hot, you got to know how to market.
You betcha. Well, I greatly appreciate it. Thanks a lot. It's extremely helpful and useful because there's so much competition here and so much demand. It's a matter of how you go forth and with your exit strategy. Most importantly, having the right exit strategy.
Terrence, a question that I have, of course, in the news is the marijuana legalization in the state of Colorado. Has that hurt or helped the real estate market?
I'm going to be honest, it has helped a lot because of there's so many people moving here and wanting to be a part of revolutionize this product of the marijuana.
Right.
We just started expanding highways, and a lot of our highways here are 3 and 4 lanes, and now we're going to the 5 and 6 lane highways just because there's so many people moving from here from different cities and states.
Right.
It started, everybody was coming from California Now you see a mixture of California and even a lot of southern states just on the license plates, because everybody wants to come here and be involved in this marijuana industry. And so it's really helped a lot in so many aspects. I was just talking to my wife, and we're getting ready to build a house, in the Florida community on the golf course, and the house that we're in right now. I mean, it's gone up in value, 2 times just because of the marijuana industry.
What is the focus of your current investing business, Terrence?
A lot of my investing right now is wholesaling. I've been wholesaling and it's worked tremendously well for me. But I tell you what, it's slowed down from 2 years ago just because you've got a lot of builders, a lot of contractors who are coming up here and buying land, and they're not even giving you an opportunity to even see the next deal in the market. And understand that everything is selling for a premium, and everything is selling for cash. And so it makes it hard for a guy like myself who, as Peter has said, you've got to be great at marketing to these non-listed products, these non-listed properties. And if you don't get a non-listed property, then you don't have a chance at all, because whatever you bid on, it's going to be 25 other offers, and they're all going to be cash, and it's going to be a premium. And so then at that point, it comes down to appraisal. What the appraisal value comes to.
Yeah, which makes it a lot more difficult. Terrence, thank you for the call and the good questions. Peter, quickly, let me ask you, in a situation, Terrence brings up some interesting points. He's in Denver, Colorado, a very hot market right now. Not everywhere in the country is as hot as others. I mean, I think of some of the southern suburbs of Atlanta where things are a little more depressed. Is it easier to work in a low-end market or a high-end market?
No, because tell you the truth, Michael, there is no perfect market out there.
Right.
Because if there was, guess what? We'd all be doing that in there, right? So in a low-end market, it sets its own issues. It's got its positive. It's got its negatives. In a high-end market, it does too. So really what it does come down to, you have to understand the basic principles of real estate.
Well, Peter, and I guess that's why you're doing so well, and why people so appreciate your help. Peter, we received this email from Sam in Aberdeen, Washington. All right, here. Sam writes, I've heard you talk about building infrastructure for your office. This all makes sense to me, but where should I start? And as so many people say, money is really tight right now. Peter, how would you address that to Sam?
Well, look, here's the bottom line. The uniqueness of real estate is that it's able to adapt itself to different situations, to different financial occurrences, to different marketplaces. So that really depends on what is Sam's particular situation. How much time is he putting in this business? How much money does he have, even though he says he has a little money? What marketplace he's in? But no matter what those circumstances are, there's absolutely the correct way to start building out your infrastructure.
But that correct way will be very different for each person, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, got it. Friends, listen, our number here in New York is area code 212-465-3205. If you are listening live right now, the lines are open for you to speak in person with Peter Vekselman, one of America's most successful real estate investors and real estate coaches. Do you wear a whistle?
No.
All right. Ready to take another call?
Sure.
Monica in Dallas on line 4. You're on the air with Peter Vekselman.
Oh, I'm so excited, Peter. So glad you took my call. I always watch your podcast, and I'm just excited to talk to you about investing.
Thanks for that.
What would you suggest if I wanted to start a real estate career? What would be the first couple steps? And I don't have a lot of capital. I have a little bit of money stashed away. But what would you suggest? What would be my first few things that I would start with?
Well, I'll tell you, majority of the mistakes in this business are made right up front. It's when people jump in, they don't exactly know what they're doing. They feel like they understand the concept, but then when they jump in, they realize that this is not a conceptual business. This is a real life day-to-day business. So the one thing I always tell people in the beginning is take it slow. Figure out what it is that you want to actually accomplish. Are you a person that wants to buy and hold? Are you a person that wants to get in and raise some capital by flipping a couple deals over? So figure out what is the objective in those first 6 to 8 months. Number 2, understand what it is you're doing. Either work with a mentor, somebody that understands more than you do, or the other thing I always tell people is go work for someone. Go be an apprentice at a local investor, someone who's already successful, somebody who's already hitting out of the ballpark. It's a great way to understand this business. Not having a lot of money actually is a good thing sometimes. I've seen a lot of people that have a lot of money that ended up with no money in this business because they simply lack to follow those initial principles I told you. So if you have a limited amount of capital and limited amount of knowledge, the one thing I always encourage people is start with basic strategies like wholesaling. In the strategy wholesaling, it's number 1, it's the quickest way to see results. So it's the quickest way to gain confidence and start making money. Number 2, it's a strategy that literally lends itself to people that do not have a lot of money. And it's a strategy that doesn't have a million different moving pieces. It literally just has a couple different prongs to it. 1, you got to identify some investors in your local marketplace that are looking for deals. Number 2, you have to identify some deals to move to them, and you position yourself in the middle through some correct paperwork, and you could make the spread. So be smart, understand what you're doing, connect with somebody that understands what they're doing, understand what your overall objective in this business, and start out with a strategy that is not a very cash-intensive strategy like wholesaling.
Got it. Okay, super. So get my feet wet, and then, of course, be cautious with my money.
Monica, a quick question that I have for you. What are the realities in the Dallas market right now? Are you looking at high-end properties, mid-level, low-end properties?
Well, I have about $100,000 that I would play with. I have a little bit of money, set aside, but that is what I'm willing to lose. I've listened to Peter for years and realized that sometimes you lose money before you make money, so I get it. I would certainly focus on the lower end, and then hopefully I'd move, not only to higher end, but some multifamily. But I know that will take time. It'll be a stair step from what I've heard from Peter.
But the Dallas market is actually fairly hot right now, isn't it?
Oh, gosh, yes. And it's going to be so competitive to get property. And, I'm just going to lean on Peter and continue to listen to his podcast about, how am I going to be able to, actually get into the market and get some of these properties when they're minutes on the market and they're taking, multiple offers.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for that. Peter, Monica sounds like she's got the right attitude, right idea. I know some of our friends listening right now would say $100,000, that's a lot of money. Other people, and I know you do some very high dollar deals. I've seen some of the high dollar deals. That doesn't sound like much money. I mean, when somebody says they don't have a lot of capital, what's kind of the minimum war chest, so to speak, one would need to have?
Well, again, a majority of that depends on A, what kind of strategy you're using, and B, what marketplace are you in? Are you in a high-end marketplace or a low-end marketplace? But then it also depends on what your personal financial situation is. Let's say, for instance, Monica decides to quit working. Where does $100,000 carry her? Does that buy her 5 months in a business? Does that buy her 2 months in a business? And things like that. So there is no perfect answer for that question, other than what I will tell you. You never want to put all your money at risk on one deal. You never want to put all your money at risk on one particular thing you're doing.
Right.
You want to be smart with what you're doing. And again, start out with a strategy, sometimes even creative strategies like lease options or subject tos or wraps. They're very cash not intense businesses or strategies. And when you do those non-cash intensive strategies, what it allows you to do is it allows you to make some mistakes without it being a fatal mistake.
Yeah, and mistakes are part of a good learning curve. And Peter, I guess in your business, as you work with different clients, I guess you can't stress enough that everybody's situation is different. And I assume that's what you help people figure out as you mentor them or do coaching work with them.
Exactly. You got it.
Peter, what would you say is one of the things that most people miss when they want to build a successful real estate investing business?
Well, what they miss is the reality of this business. This
Right.
is so many people go out there and they learn it on the internet or they watch some video and they get the concept down. Or what they don't understand is this business literally changes from day to day, situation to situation, deal to deal. So you have to understand how to do the day-to-day tasks of putting deals together.
And one of the things I've heard you say to on some of your speaking gigs, or I've heard you on other radio shows, is everybody's situation is different, and of course that's one of the things you help people with. Peter, if someone wants to work with you, is interested in working with you and your team, how do they get in touch?
Well, the best way to do it is just to send me a text directly to my cell phone at 404-915-9685.
And if someone has a property they want to sell for a quick cash offer, which I know you do, how do they contact you? Same way?
Same way. Cell phone 404-915-9685, and send me a text directly to that number.
Peter, before we run out of time for this week's show, let me run through a couple of the emails that came in.
Sure.
Terry from Boise, Idaho writes, this is good. Listen, there are a lot of scams in the real estate training business. How do you tell the difference? What questions should I be asking?
Well, the first thing I want to point out is there's a lot of scams in a lot of industries, pretty much every industry, whether you're a car mechanic, an accountant, a doctor, or anything like that. So you do the same thing in this industry as you do anywhere else. You do your due diligence. You ask the tough questions. You get references. You make sure that the person you're dealing with is actually doing what they're teaching. And so you do your own due diligence on the person you want to work with.
You know, Peter, something that I heard you say on another show one time is ask people what they're actually doing. And if somebody claims to be I hate the term guru, I hate that term, but, a real estate guru, and you ask them what deals are you doing. If they're not doing any deals, there's probably not a whole lot they're going to teach you, is there?
No. Then they're just teaching you concepts. And in this concepts, you can learn them for free on the internet. You have to know somebody that does the day-to-day stuff.
And cookie cutter stuff doesn't work. That's another thing. You buy a $500 course online, and how can somebody selling a $500 course, teach 100 different people the same thing? I mean, every situation is going to be different. I mean, that's my understanding.
Doesn't work. You could be someone's next door neighbor, and what you end up doing in this business is very different than I would recommend to your next door neighbor. Absolutely.
Got it. Second email, Steve in Wichita, Kansas writes, how do you determine the best offer to make on a house? There is a piece of property. I love this. Okay. There's a piece of property I really want to buy, but I am afraid of being outbid. I think I know how you're going to answer this.
Well, again, every situation changes from situation to situation depending what you want to do with that property. But there's some just basic parameters that you want to use in this business. So, for instance, what I always tell people is go in at about 25% below what the property is worth. So if you're bidding in a property that's worth $100,000, you ultimately don't want to pay any more than $75,000 for that particular property.
Well, and the other thing, and this is what I thought your answer was going to be, was don't be chasing the shiny trophies. I mean, that's where a lot of real estate investors really get taken, right?
You can't be emotional in this business. More people lose money in this business because they simply get too emotional about the deal, about the opportunity. Next thing you know, they're paying prices they should never pay, and next thing you know, they're trying to dig themselves out of a hole.
Yeah. Peter, listen, quickly, less than 30 seconds before the end of the show, quick answer. Sue in Tempe, Arizona writes, can my husband and I visit with you in person? We are trying to transition from a regular job and want to expand our real estate investing. Right now, we own 2 rental properties. Quick answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime somebody wants to visit me, they're welcome to.
Great. Well, Peter, it's always good talking with you today. What do you have coming up next week?
Well, we got a huge deal that we've been working on that we finally finalizing this week. Plus, I got some great information coming out for some things that my business is doing. But my favorite part is for 3 days, my wife and I are taking off to Biltmore Estates just to get a little R&R and relaxation and just enjoy each other.
Well, I know Asheville, North Carolina well, you lucky guy. Peter Vekselman, sounds good. We'll see you next week.
Hey, Mike, as always, good plugging in with you.
Hey, you guys know what we do here. We do a ton of deals, and I have a one-on-one coaching program where I coach people just like you to help become very, very successful real estate investors. So if you're a buyer or you know other buyers literally all over the world that are looking for deals in a Georgia market, specifically concentrated towards Atlanta, you need to be on our buyers list. By now, you'll see my email scrolling across the screen. Send me an email. Just say, add me to the buyers list. And on a daily basis, you're going to get some terrific, both ROI and equity-driven deals emailed right directly to you through email. The other thing, if you're looking to become a successful investor, whether you're brand new, just getting started, or whether you're doing it already and you're looking to be a bigger, more sophisticated, more savvy investor, I know I could help you do that. Send me an email to learn more about my one-on-one coaching program, or better yet, right below this video, there's a link right directly to coachingbypeter.com. You can go straight there and learn more about how I could help you become very successful in this industry.